for a second, I just thought I was crazy calling Trump and his lackeys and essentially his entire administration like racist, quoting Nazis. And it's like, but when you see this and you hear what his head advisor is going to say, which is this verbatim, you have to take a moment and just think to yourself, what the fuck are these people doing? Well, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, all right? I'm gonna be honest like I know how. And those who are subscribed to the channel, they understand that this is just how it is, all right? I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you. And if you like it, cool. If you don't, then, that kind of sucks for you. But that Trump rally that happened in New York the other night, all right? That was, some people compare it to like a Nazi, rally, or, just Nazifying just everything. Like, I think that's a little like reaching, to me, this was like just watching it, or even just watching the highlights. I felt like I was joining the KKK. Like, it felt like, if you ever wondered like how it was or how it is, because there's still KKK members in organizations in the country, what do they talk about? You know what I'm saying? Like, do they really just sit around talking about black folks and immigrants and white power and, the blood of the country? Like, do they really just talk about that? Or do they play like Fortnite or something and just watch the football game, and just eat hot dogs and chips? Like what goes on, And after watching that, it's like, damn, this has to be like, I'm pretty sure if a KKK member was watching that, they'd be like Jimmy, like, come here, buddy. Like, this, they're talking about us. Like they feel at home. They have to. They demonized non-white folks. They were sexist as hell. Hitler quotes, literal KKK quotes, like not even, paraphrasing or like reading in between the lines, like literally word for word KKK quotes from a pamphlet. Like, and even like to top it off, because we know, KKK rallies have, the burning cross, and it was even a racist, just crazy pastor holding up a crucifix at a politician election rally. Like, how do you fit that in? Like, it was bizarre and weird, but let's go ahead. good old Phil DeFranco. I don't think we need that. He breaks it down and, goes through all the highlights, because trust me, I'm not going to go through 6 hours of a Trump rally and get no, I'm not going to do, I love myself. Okay. So let's just listen to good old Philly Phil.
What are your thoughts with all this? But then shifting gears, we got to talk about Donald Trump's Madison Square Garden rally. Because for one reason or another, this shit's going in history books. But at least in the short term, in this 24-hour news cycle, a big part of the reason this got so much attention is because of headlines ranging from offensive Latino, Puerto Rico jokes at Trump MSG rally launch wave of criticism, to Trump headlines Madison Square Garden rally after vulgar racist remarks from allies. Or you just look out, whether it be headlines or people talking on the internet, people noting the attempted jokes about black people, Jewish people, Latinos, as well as racist and misogynistic comments about Vice President Kamala Harris. Or you had folks like Grant Cardone not so subtly calling Harris a whore.
She makes her boss look competent. She's a fake. I'm not here to invalidate her. She's a fake, a fraud. She's a pretender. Her and her pimp handlers will destroy our country.
Then, for example, as Tucker Carlson was planting the seeds for doubt if Kamala Harris wins this 50-50 election, he said it this way.
It's going to be pretty tough for them 10 days from now to look in the eye to America with a straight face. It's going to be pretty hard to look at us and say, you know what? Kamala Harris, She got 85 million votes because she's just so impressive. As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor ever to be elected president, it was just a groundswell of popular support. And anyone who thinks otherwise is just a freak or a criminal.
With many arguing that
What? How do you put together low IQ and first of her race and first of being a woman, general prosecutor, then becomes district prosecutor, and then becomes Senate of one of the biggest cities and states essentially in the world when it comes to the economics that's within California? Like, how do you relate that with low IQ? Like just wrap your head around it. Like, you can fake it till you make it, but you can't fake it as much as she did. And once again, you can disagree with what she did, but to say she's low IQ is just a little weird. All right. And to top it off, you're voting for Trump and you're calling her low IQ. Like, let's, living in
he's
a
playing
different
into the
world.
racist angle because he knows that Harris is black and Indian, not Samoan and Malaysian. There are people saying it's like he went out of his way to choose two random brown ethnicities. During this day of joy, Harris was also called the Antichrist by David Rem, one of Trump's lifelong friends, even though the two reportedly just met 2 weeks ago. Also, I will say notably with Rem, he emphasized that Trump needs a Latino vote and that it would, quote, switch this election for your favor. Though possibly one of the speakers last night might have fucked that up. Right? And that because what comedian Tony Hinchcliffe said on stage, which if you don't recognize this guy, he's the host of the extremely popular comedy show called Kill Tony. And apparently Hinchcliffe thought it would be a great idea to just kind of do a set at this political rally. With these now being kind of the main highlights that are getting shared around.
That's a cool black guy with a thing on his head. What the hell is that? A lampshade? Look at this guy. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm just kidding. That's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome. Well, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this.
Oh man,
It's
that's
wild.
horrible.
And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country.
And really that line about Latinos as well
it's funny, okay? It's funny in a sense of like, is he really saying that? Like holy shit, like this is awkward. You know what I'm saying? And as we get further in videos, like this was not the place and time for that. Like, I know a lot of people say, comedians and this, but I mean, we'll get to it when they explain.
this next clip, they've garnered the most attention.
It is absolutely wild times. It really, really is. And, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Right, and immediately Tony's comments and his attempted joke.
He just called U.S. territory, U.S. citizens, okay, garbage, trash, an entire group of people, trash. Like how do you justify that? And it wasn't funny. So why? Like it's just mind-boggling. Like you can't make this up. Like what point did that serve to call hundreds of thousands of US citizens, Cubans, trash? Like, Oh man.
Jokes. They were called out as racist and drew the attention of major names from Puerto Rico. Like with Bad Bunny, for example, he didn't address Tony directly, but instead he just reposted clips from a recent Harris campaign video highlighting her support for Puerto Ricans. Right, and that video actually came out before Trump's rally, but the timing ended up being pretty good for her, and many took it as him officially endorsing Harris. Though this also is others far more explicitly called out Tony, such as Ricky Martin, who wrote on a reposted clip of Tony, "This is what they think of us," as well as an explicit Harris endorsement. You also, this is gonna sound like a Mad Lib, had AOC and Tim Walz reacting to the clip while streaming on Twitch and playing games, with Walz highlighting that Puerto Ricans are Americans and they serve in the US at among the highest rates, and AOC adding,
I need people to understand that when you have some a-hole calling Puerto Rico floating garbage, know that that's what they think about you.
Wow.
That's just what they think about you. It's what they think about anyone who makes less money than them. It's what they think about the people who serve them food in a restaurant. It's what they think about the people who fold their clothes in a store. Like,
you're
dude,
right.
are you serious? Like, are you serious?
Yeah, the privilege of being on this campaign is traveling across the entire country. There are hundreds of thousands of Puerto Ricans across in battleground states that need to send them a message on this.
I want them to like.
You even had some former Trump supporting Puerto Ricans like Geraldo Rivera having expressed frustration and anger at the comments, saying, "Fuck these racists. Latino men of goodwill, have pride in yourselves and your ancestors. A vote for Trump is a vote against self-respect." I mean,
and that's a common theme, okay? Like, say what you want about the Democratic Party. Trust me, I got a whole list myself. But it's weird how, you know, black folks are talking amongst each other and saying, like, if you love yourself, why would you vote for Trump? You know, Mexican homies is, you know, asking themselves, if you love yourself, why are you voting for Trump? And now Cubans have to ask that same question, like, if you love yourself, if you respect yourself and who you are and your culture and what makes you you, why do you hate yourself voting for that guy? Like, that's what that means. A vote for Trump means you hate yourself. You love whatever, make believe issue that you want to claim that you have. You know, that's a major policy issue, but in reality, you just hate yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird how all these groups have to have these conversations about Trump supporters. You know, like, I don't know. It's just weird how these puzzles are just like slowly fitting together. You know, but I don't hear any white folks saying like Billy, like, do you love yourself? Like, why are you voting for Trump? Like, yeah, like no, that doesn't even sound right. You know, so I don't know.
I mean, he even had Republican Senator Rick Scott denouncing it. Now, all that said, for his part, Tony tried to downplay the situation by saying they were just jokes and later responded to Walz with, "These people have no sense of humor." Wild that a vice presidential candidate would take time out of his, quote, busy schedule to analyze a joke taken out of context to make it seem racist. "I love Puerto Rico and vacationing there. I made fun of everyone. Watched the whole set. I'm a comedian, Tim. Might be time to change your tampon."
So, and my question is, and I watched his portion, but maybe it was like he came on a second time or whatever the case is, but like, did he make fun of white people? Did he make fun of like, you know, the KKK or something, or Nazis? Like, no, because I heard black jokes, Mexican jokes, Puerto Rican jokes, like, you know, Palestinian jokes. Like, where is it at? Where is the full country, you know, skinhead white boy jokes? You know what I'm saying? Like, I missed that. You know, so let me know if it's in there.
But right, the whole "it's just a joke," it wasn't working for a lot of people who had takes like, I understand this might have been intended as a joke by a comedian, but when comments like this are made at a political rally, not a comedy club, they take on a different and more damaging meaning.
And is that so hard to understand? It's not a comedy club. They take on a different and more damaging meaning. And like, we're gonna get into the or Phil's gonna get into the clip. He's making Palestinian jokes, and then later on, Rudy Giuliani, who should be in jail, makes it more personal against Palestinian people. So now your joke is like being clumped in with these hateful people. So let's just say it was a joke and you just, like have no ill will against Palestinian people. Like now your jokes are in the same category as these hateful people. So it seems like you failed on that part. And to double down, but like, oh, you guys can't just take it. Like, no, you were not in the right place to make that joke, fool. Like it's like Trump when he called out Kamala Harris for not being black, or she just turned black at a black conference of journalists. The conference was literally for black journalists, and Trump goes there to say Kamala decided to be black. Like, no, that's not going to work with black folks, so.
Comments like this are made at a political rally, not a comedy club. They take on a different and more damaging meaning. And to see what they mean, right, you have people comparing two clips. First, this clip of Rudy Giuliani bashing Palestinians.
Oh, here it is.
And the Palestinians are taught to kill us at 2 years old. They won't let a Palestinian in Jordan. They won't let a Palestinian in Egypt. And Harris wants to bring them to you. Donald Trump's on the side of Israel. And they're on the side of the terrorists.
And then separately, you have this clip of Hinchcliffe from the event.
When it comes to Israel and Palestine, we're all thinking the same thing. Settle your stuff already. Best out of 3. Rock, paper, scissors. The Palestinians are going to throw rock every time. But you also know the Jews have a hard time throwing that paper. You know what I'm saying?
Right, you have a number of people noting this is the same exact event. So for many, it can be hard to tell where the joke ends and where the rhetoric begins. But now with all that said, of course, there's a question of, well, does this matter? Does this or does anything these days move the needle? And with that, you have some saying, yes, absolutely. Or at the very least, there is a fear that it might. And the reason for that is the Trump campaign's actually trying to do damage control by distancing themselves from Tony's comments. Although notably, Trump himself has yet to comment on that situation. Of course. But it does make sense that the people trying to get him elected would want to try to create that distance. Because as it turns out, Latinos and Puerto Ricans in particular are a major voting bloc in key battleground states. I mean, it's such a disaster. You have some claiming that this rally alone in that specific moment, it may have done serious damage to Trump's chances of getting reelected, which is exactly why we saw people like a former Trump White House official writing. Who wants to tell these guys there are 500,000 Puerto Ricans living in battleground PA whose votes are up for grabs? And former White House official Peter Navarro saying that Tony is, quote, the biggest, stupidest asshole that ever came down the comedy pipe. Then separate from that, you had political analyst Stephen Miller making some headlines. Right in that, because he was pushing America is for Americans only, which a number of people argue is suspiciously similar to the Nazi slogan, Germany for the Germans, and the KKK pamphlet titled America for...
What? Like, oh God, like it's like for a second, I just thought I was crazy calling Trump and his lackeys and essentially his entire administration like racist, quoting Nazis. And it's like, but when you see this and you hear what his head advisor is going to say, which is this verbatim, you have to take a moment and just think to yourself, what the fuck are these people doing? Like, why? Like, seriously, ask yourself, why are you associating yourself with this party here? I want to know. Okay, I don't care. Please, for the sake of God, let me know why you are supporting this party after this comparison here. I need to know. For the love of me, if I had one wish from a genie, it would be, why are Republican voters associating themselves with a party that is clear as day is replicating the KKK? Why?
for Americans. Although there's also the argument that it's not that deep and it's just a populist sentiment. But then finally, that brings us to Trump, who actually ends up being the smallest part of this story. And I'm also just gonna kind of paraphrase because his remarks, I mean, he kind of just rambled. Or like it would just add another 10 minutes to this piece for him to get to the point. Though to his credit, at points he did talk about an actual policy point, which is rare for his campaign. But he promised a tax credit for those who take care of elderly family members or those with disabilities, which notably is similar to what Harris has also recently promised. But then other than that, it was kind of the classic Trump stuff, rambling bits about migrants, journalists, and other people that he's not a fan of. But he made vague threats to his opponents and called them the enemy from within. But of course, in the past, he clarified this meant, quote, the crazy lunatics we have, the fascists, the Marxists, the communists, the people that we have that are actually running the country. Also for migrants, he promised to use the 1798 Alien and Sedition Act to go after them, which to be clear would be a completely unprecedented use of the law. He also bashed the military leaders of the past few decades, likely because many have come out warning about Trump's insane fantasies while in the White House that we talked about last week. But yeah, I mean, time will tell if this had any impact and what it is. You're not gonna have to wait that long because I mean, the election is in a week. What the fuck? It's actually happening. And so yeah.
Oh my God. Yes, Phil the Franco, it is actually happened. And I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You know, like it's sad, it's a little frightening, and it's confusing. And it's kind of funny. And then it's sad again. And then you get upset. You know, and that cycle just continues. But I mean, like a serious question to anyone who is voting for Trump, like, why do you hate yourself? And specifically talking to people of color, like black folks, Asians, Muslims, Cuban, just everything, anything and everything in between. Like, why do you hate yourself? You know, like, why do you hate yourself so much for whatever reason that you want to pretend that it is to vote for a party that hates you? This party does not give any damns about you. And they keep saying that. They literally are having hundreds of thousands of people applaud them while they are talking about you. What sense does that make? Why? You know, like, why do you hate yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you hate your people so much that you're voting for Trump? You know, and if you're patriotic, and this is for, you know, all folks, white folks, everyone. If you hate America so damn much, then go ahead and vote for Trump. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to be unbiased and like make you like no, I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you. Like, you voting for Trump, you hate yourself and you hate America. That's simple. It's no argument there. Cause you can't explain a party talking shit about you and your people, and you're like, but bro, like, things were so much better under Trump. Like, you know, like, I had a little bit more money in my pocket. Like, no, you're stupid. You know, and you need to see a counselor. Seriously, you know, but I gotta leave it there, you know. So if you disagree with anything that I said in this video, which I'm pretty sure you do, you know, I have a whole line of people. Just join the Discord. All right, we can have a one-on-one conversation. Or if you don't want to do that, you're too scared, let me know how you feel in the comments. Okay, and like always, let's have that conversation.